Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 25 of What If Naruto Got His Memory Sealed Away. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new series of What If Naruto Was a Godly Mage and enjoy that guys over on Anime King. And stay in tune for What If Naruto is given a second chance. And later on, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Learned the Clone Secret in the beginning. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last time we left off, as Naruto came back home, he was promoted to a full Jonin as he came back home to Himako, as he will have to be out soon again in another S-rank mission. And this night she wanted to sleep with him. As long as he loved her, she didn't matter, as the both of them slept together that night. 4 days passed as Naruto woke up, as his head was still throbbing from what happened. As he looked around, as Teiwai was there as well, as Himako went and mixed something for the both of them. They went out to celebrate Naruto becoming a full Jonin, and yeah, all of them got drunk, as it took all of them to hold on Lee, as he ended up destroying the place. Naruto was called by Tsunade after a good 2 hours because Himako decided to join him in the shower. Tsunade threw the stapler at him, trying to smack him right in the head, but luckily he dodged. As Jiraiya was there, Jiraiya found information on the Akatsuki leader in the Hidden Rain as they were going to go there. Tsunade thought that he was insane, but Jiraiya told her that they were the only one who can do this, as she just begged them to be safe. Time skip. Himako came to the office. She and Naruto has already been thinking about moving to a bigger place, and she found something and she wanted to show it to Tsunade, as she was quite happy about it for Naruto to come back and find this present. Yes, it was like a gift, and she was happy about it, as she was sure that they would come back safe from this mission, but Tsunade was a bit worried. Meanwhile, the Hidden Rain, they managed to snuck in, but Pain already knew that they were there, as Jiraiya and Naruto separated. Naruto was on one of the skyscrapers when he was attacked by Papers. As he started to fight the person that was taking him on, it was a woman with blue hair. It was Konan. Meanwhile, Jiraiya was on the other side taking on the other parts of Pain. As things get really hectic, he had to enter Sage mode. Meanwhile, Naruto was facing off against Konan, the both of them crashing from skyscraper to skyscraper as she dropped him from very high up. But he had 2 tails behind him as he crashed right through a building. As it's been a long time since he used a trigger, now using it with 4 tails. As Naruto sit down and meditate on a building, she tried to attack him but his tails kept on knocking him away. 4 tails came behind him. As his skin then started to peel as fur started to appear all over him, as he transformed into the trigger with 4 tails now dashing behind him, his voice sounding very demonic, but he was still in control. As they wanted to take all the Bijuu's power to create a weapon, give to the other villages and destroy them. So what if the same was to happen to their village? As Naruto descended hundreds upon hundreds of rain ninjas, they were here to fight for their leader Pain and protect the angel, as Naruto crashed into them like a bomb. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say begin this new episode? Konan gritted her teeth as she just tried to hit him with her papers, but he used his tail and advanced with the wind technique and hit them away. His wind is a natural weakness of my papers. This isn't good, she said, as Naruto started to tear through the range shinobis down below. Fighting those damn spiders in the forest of death may have sucked at times, but it was good practice for this. As Naruto smashed his fist right into one of their faces, the man was sent sailing before smashing his back against a light post. As his spine was snapped, a torrent of water came crashing down, but Naruto jumped as he smashed through the side of a building and went inside. He's inside. Trap him now, a man screamed, as the rest of them rushed inside the building to bring Naruto down. The streets were filled with rain ninjas to try and cut off his retreat or to capture him. Konan hovered over the building, thinking of any way possible to get to him and bring him down. She was not going to fail. This was the most important step in their plan, and she won't let Naruto stand in their way. They need to do this to bring peace after all. Minutes passed as Konan was looking down. The Force or Naruto that went inside, neither of them. There's been no sign of them. No one had come outside back at all. Was he really that hard to find in there? He was nearly 7 feet tall and he was a massive fox. How hard could it be to locate him inside a building? Suddenly, Naruto jumped through the 10th floor window as there was a victorious smirk on his face. And then, boom. Get away from the building now, Konan shouted. The entire floor, first floor, the second, straight up to the 10th, all of them exploded suddenly. And then the entire thing came crashing down as bodies were sent sailing. As Naruto watched from a distance as he was holding on to another building. That was a really bad strategy, he said. They wouldn't have cornered me in air anyway. And what were they going to do against me in this form, he thought. A paper shuriken then flew at him as he turned his head. What, he said. She was fuming with rage. I'm a seed of war and fury, aren't I? This is the only thing I'm good for, according to you. You were the one that is stupid enough to make an enemy out of me. You had to know that it would come to this, trying to use me and the others as active weapons. You're just upset that it's happening here in your home. Your little master plan isn't so good when it's being practiced on you, isn't it? It doesn't matter, said Konan. No matter what you do, you won't leave here today. You will be beaten and you will have the Kyuubi extracted from you. Because no matter how much of a monster you may fight like, you cannot compare, Naruto cut her off, to a god, he said. I haven't seen him yet. If this pain guy is god, then he would have struck me down, wouldn't he? He wouldn't let me do this for very long, would he? He would know that I'm here and tear me apart, right? This guy is no god more than I am. Konan had enough as she attacked Naruto with her paper blades, but Naruto teared through her hand. She was a paper clone. It then turned to paper and started to lash all around his body. A few of the sheets started as smoke. It was paper bombs, as they exploded, thrusting Naruto off the side of the building. As Naruto fell and landed right on his feet, creating a crater in the ground. Lucky thing that she's not that good in Fuinjutsu. If you had featured that Erosenin, things have been really bad. Naruto will suddenly stop as he felt a water whip. One wrapped around his arm, one wrapped around the other, two wrapped around his leg, and one wrapped around his throat. Hold him for the angel to finish him off. Do not let him escape, the Rain Ninja said. Naruto yanked his feet as the man was pulled towards him. He then stomped straight into the man's back, snapping, as you could hear the bones being snapped and crushed. The man cried out in pain before going limp. He then pulled the two whips towards him, flinging all the remaining three towards him, as he extended his hand out and grabbed their face, smashing their head together, stomping in the third one's throat, knocking him down to the ground. As Naruto looked around, he needed to find Jiraiya and get the hell out of here before their luck run out. He knew if Jiraiya was seeing this, he would have been here a long time ago. So that means Jiraiya is in a battle of his own, probably with his Pain guy. He had to get to him and see what they should do from this point. He was still the commander of this mission after all, and Naruto was still his underling. As Naruto took through the streets, searching for Jiraiya as Konan was hot on his tail. But Konan had a smile on her face. She knew exactly where Pain was. After he finished off Jiraiya, he could handle the rest. Because, as what the Sage of Six Paths proved back a long time ago, not even a demon was a match for a god. And Pain was a god as well. Naruto cannot defeat him no matter what. Meanwhile, the illusion ended as Jiraiya drove a massive stone sword right through the three Pain's chests, killing all of them as they were trapped in the genjutsu by the two toads that were on his shoulder. He then noticed the toads coughing. Are you two alright? He asked. As Paul nodded, that genjutsu really dries your throat out, he said, as he had to sing. It ain't easy, Ma said, getting a harmony with Paul. That is why we don't go around using it at everyone beck and call. It gave you a sore throat, and not to mention, make your jaw all slacky, and not to mention the wrinkles. Sorry about that, but you have plenty of time to rest now. I still hope we can find Naruto and get him out of his own mess. Didn't you just tell me not to underestimate my enemies, Jiraiya-sensei, said a voice. Surprising Jiraiya. Jiraiya turned his head, but he was smashed through the wall as he fell right on the water. Jiraiya grit his teeth in anger. Jiraiya boy, your arm, said Ma. Jiraiya's left arm was severed from that one single attack from his assailant. What in the hell just happened, Pa asked as he looked at their new attackers. Their faces are completely different from the other three. He must have summoned them before he called the others in the genjutsu. There was no 6 enemies. The other 3 that he just killed a moment ago was now walking up, joining back the group. It's time, said the one in the center as he looked down. He looked like the youngest as he had spiky hair, piercing all through his nose. It's time that you witness the 6 paths of pain, he said. 6, said Pa. It seems that the new 3 have used some techniques to heal the old 3. But there ain't any juice that can bring a human back to life. Wait, you, said Jiraiya. I know that face. Yaiko. But you were supposed to be dead. And those eyes. Just what is going on here? You can still see Yaiko in me. How funny. I suppose only his teacher would recognize what is left of him. But make no mistake, Sensei. Yaiko is long dead. The man standing in front of you is Pain, no one else. I'm sick of your bullshit, Jiraiya shouted. How the hell can all of you have the Rinnegan? You didn't have it when I was training you, that was definite. So who are you? Nagato or Yaiko? Who the hell are you? We are Pain, said Yaiko. And we are gods. As all of them jump off the ledge, coming down towards Jiraiya. Meanwhile with Naruto kept on slicing through rain ninjas after rain ninjas. For every single one of them he sliced through, they kept on jumping in his path. Naruto released another yell as paper shuriken ripped into his back. Konan was sniping him slowly, picking him apart from out of his reach. And the rain ninjas engaged him and attract his attention while she attacked him from afar. As all of the rain ninjas were willing to do what they need to do, even die to help take him out. He jumped at her but he missed. But he flipped on one of his tails as that slammed right into her, knocking her down from the sky. She hit the ground. As Naruto saw his chance, he dashed forward, but a wall of water suddenly appeared, the rain ninjas protecting her, giving her a chance to get back up. Naruto opened up his hand and formed a spear of raw demonic chakra before swallowing it. Konan's eyes widened as she remembered the attack from Zetsu with his attack with Kimimaro. This was the same one. He's going to use that here in the village? She shouted. Get away now! You can't block this attack! It will kill you all, she screamed. Too late, Naruto said. This is what you wanted, the Kyuubi. We'll take all the power of the Kyuubi I can give you. Menacing ball. As he fired off the ball, it instantly incinerate everything in his path before exploding out on a wide scale as the village was sent shaking with massive explosions. Meanwhile, Jiraiya sat inside of what appeared to be a toad as he was surrounded by acid, stomach acid. The pain with the ponytail that he was fighting at first was there. Jiraiya had got stabbing through his arm and his shoulder as well. I can't believe I got one, Jiraiya said in an exhausted voice. Are you okay there, kiddo? Said Ma. Manji said, before a strange sensation went through his body. My chakra is going crazy. I can't control it, he said, as he hunched over in pain. As Paul went over and ripped the weapon out, it's this thing. It ain't bad enough that there are 6 of them and they look weird. They have to use crazy weapons as well. Jiraiya watched as a headband on the pain in front of his head slipped off. As he remembered something years ago. No. I remember now. This isn't Nagato. It can't be. As the toads on his shoulder looked at him very confused. I fought this man a long time ago. Right after the Great Sage advice, I started to travel. I fought this man from the Fuma clan. And I end up giving him that scar on his forehead. So, what is he doing here? Asked Pa. If the prophecy is true, then I need to know the truth, Jiraiya said. I have to fight them again. I can't allow you two to be hurt because of me. Please, return home. Are you insane, boy? Said Pa. If you go out there, you'll be toast. There's even more Rinnegan eyes out there as before. And he's not gonna fall for that trap again. He ain't figured out what's going on yet or where you are. We need to run. The entire place started to rock and shake violently. You're probably right. If I leave this barrier, I'm not going to walk away from this one. But I need to find out his true identity. And Naruto is still out there. If he can't get me, then you will just go after Naruto. Naruto is either searching or trying to find me. are still fighting. He wouldn't just cut without me, I know it. Without me, he would be overwhelmed and captured. I need the both of you to take this corpse back to Snavi with everything that we learned on this mission. If that is all you want, then Ma can handle that herself, said Pa. Jiraiya was about to dispute when Ma spoke up. You better not be late for dinner, she said. We won't be. Me and Jiraiya boy here would come after we finish up right here, he said. Meanwhile, Pain was looking as there was a massive trench through his village. A smaller version of a B2 bomb tear right through his village, destroying a large part of it. Blowing buildings apart, bringing them down. It was a complete disaster. Kyuubi Jinjulki. There was only one person who could do that, and it was him. Jiraiya then surfaced from the water behind them with a massive shuriken as he threw it at the robot Pain as it dodged. Jiraiya then noticed something as he saw all of their face after getting a good look. He's met all of them before. I know your real identity, Pain. As the robot Pain attacked Jiraiya and started to fight hand-to-hand combat, he had two arms. Jiraiya blocked one of his arms, he smashed his other arm in Jiraiya's throat, making Jiraiya go down. Damn it, Jiraiya cursed. I need to tell Paul to get Naruto out of here, but my throat. Herasenin! Naruto landed and blew away all of the pains. They have to all jump away, released a massive burst of wind. As he was huffing, the Kitsune trigger and the abilities that he has been using against Konan and the entire massive force, it was taking a toll on his body. Damn it. What did they do to you, Naruto said. But Jiraiya could not talk. It's going to be fine, Naruto said. I'm getting you out of here. As Naruto turned towards Paul, you should leave now. Erasenin can't fight anymore, and I don't know how to fight with you. I'm not leaving you or Jiraiya boy like this. I know you're his pupil as well, just like how this Pain fellow used to be. As Naruto looked up, which one of them is Pain? I see 4 different guys over there. No, said Paul. There's supposed to be 5. We got rid of 1. It was too late as a rod drove right to Naruto's back, bursting through his stomach. It was by the same spiky ear Pain Tendo. Hello, Kyuubi Jinjulki. Naruto Uzumaki. I must say, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Naruto gasped as he felt the chakra in his body being strangely out of focus by this weapon. As he saw 2 swirl patterned eyes in his head, his Kitsune trigger receded back to normal as his control slipped. As he collapsed to his knees. Don't worry, you will survive this. It is not fatal. How fitting. All of Jiraiya's surviving students are here. As Naruto looked up, his body felt broken. All of the wounds with his fight with Konan and the Rain Ninjas were opening. The Kitsune trigger was causing massive stress to his body. It was hard for him to get completely healed that quickly. The Rinnegan. I will not allow this pretender to take me under his will. I will not be his slave, said the Kyuubi. Do not let him defeat you here. Get up, the Kyuubi roared, pushing his chakra into Naruto's weak frame. Naruto ripped the blade out of his stomach and threw it at Pain, but Pain dodged it. As Naruto started to engage him in taijutsu, but Pain was dodging rather easily. Naruto was weak already. With all of that injury, and with just using the Kitsune trigger, out of nowhere the ball one came and smashed his fist into Naruto's ribs. Naruto cried out in pain as he was sent sailing as he smashed into a pipe. As he grabbed Naruto by the ear and pulled him up, when Naruto spit blood right into his eye, it was then that the absorption Pain came and fisted Naruto right in his face. As the rest of the Pains jumped in and started to knock Naruto around. Meanwhile, crap was being snapped out of Naruto. What the hell is this, he said as he got another fist to the face. After another, a kick in the back. But he wasn't going down. They beat Erasenin. They beat me. I wasn't even in a fight with this guy. It is futile, said Pain. You are the living embodiment of destruction. No human is meant to control the power you hold. You will never find a way to become stronger than me. On the other hand, I will use that dark power inside of you to bring peace to this world. It is my duty as a new god. One of the eyes were swollen shut. You're no god, he said. As he stepped forward, as Pain just looked at him. Because if you were, I couldn't do this. As Naruto spit right into Pain's face. Blood and spit covered Pain. Pain stood there in shock. No one has ever tried to do this before. As he just stood there looking at Naruto. All of the other paths had stopped as well. As Naruto formed a Rasengan. Almighty push, Pain said. As Naruto's body was jerked violently, smashing through the support beam behind him. As Pain was pissed off because of the spit, even the other bodies were sent flying away. Paw and Jiraiya as well. Naruto said Paw as he was on top of Jiraiya's body that was just flowing lifeless in the air. as Naruto was just there. I could not win, he said. I wasn't strong enough. As his eyes drifted over to Jiraiya, who wasn't even better off than he was. And once they fell from the sky, Pain was going to capture him and extract the Kyuubi from him and leave Jiraiya to drown. He lost. I'm sorry, Erosenin. Sorry, Snadabachan. I'm sorry, Danzo-jiji. I'm sorry, everyone, he said. I guess I wasn't good enough for when it mattered. As his eyes shut, but he never heard someone calling out Naruto-senpai over and over. Meanwhile, Himako just moved into the new house, putting away Naruto things. But then the tattoo on her arm started to throb numbly. It wasn't any kind of code that he would speak to her with. She moved towards the ledge. As she looked outside the building. What happened to you, Naruto-sama? And are you alright, she said. Something was wrong, she could feel it. Time skip. Snaddy was in her office. She was still worried. As she regrets sending both of them alone. She felt uneasy ever since. She was listening to Shizune's rundown of what she must do today, but she wasn't really paying attention that much. After that, she just nodded and went into her office. When a small toad appeared, as she quickly looked down. Yes? Jiraiya and his little apprentice are missing, said Ma. What? How? What happened to them? What do you mean, Snaddy asked. They end up fighting with two members of the Akatsuki. One of them happened to be the leader. The last thing I remember happening was Jiraiya-chan losing his left arm. Paul stayed to help him, but he hasn't returned to Mount Miyaboku either. Snaddy slumped back as she looked up in the ceiling. As she could already feel her eyes, the corner of her eyes being stinged with tears, but she couldn't cry now. Tell me everything you know, she said. Unknown location. Naruto slowly opened his eyes. He wondered where he was. He was in a rather dark room as he couldn't understand. Because his body felt fine. He felt fine for a guy that was being hit by an invisible wall and thrown from miles and smashed through a support beam. Yes, he felt fine. Why would the Akatsuki heal him, and why wasn't he bound? And why was he conscious? As he looked down to see his body wrapped in bandages, as he had on his boxers. As he got up and quietly made his way towards his door, stuck himself to the ceiling, waiting for someone to enter so he can make his escape. The door then opened up and shut, as someone started to take steps inside the room. As Naruto landed behind the person and wrapped his arm around their neck to quietly take them down. But the person switched himself with a chair near his bed. I am very glad I created that substitution before I entered the room, or you would have killed me, Naruto-senpai. As Naruto was surprised. That was a female voice, but the only person that ever called him senpai was Sai. And as a matter of fact, the only reason why Sai called him senpai was because he was in Root? Naruto asked as he slumped down against the door. That's right, Naruto-senpai. We are currently in our Root hideout in River Country. We headed here after retrieving you and Jiraiya-sama from the hidden rain. You know you really shouldn't be out of bed, she said. You said that you retrieved me and Jiraiya. Does that mean he's alive, Naruto asked. Yes. And what of him, Naruto asked. Jiraiya-sama has a stab wound through his torso, much like you, that injured his organs. His left arm was severed from his body at the shoulder, and his throat was crushed in battle. He's currently in a coma. We put him under so he wouldn't know of our base. I am sorry if you have a problem with that, but it's orders. I can give you the shot to take him out of it when it's time for you to leave. Naruto ran a hand down his face. How did you get us out? We should have been finished. There is no way you guys fought off that Pain guy. I'm sorry, he says. He looked over. I don't even know your name. Sai-senpai has given my old code name as Maki. He said that he will find it familiar. You did spar with me often, Naruto-senpai. Back before your incident in the hidden sound. Naruto's hands fell across the wall before he hit the light switch. As he saw Maki, he never knew that she was a girl because she always wore baggy clothes and her mask. So yeah, until Sai told him on their trip to Ozu. Flashback. A 5-year-old Naruto. Naruto, it is important that you keep up appearance in the village, so they don't know that you're being trained by me. As Naruto nodded and kept on walking with Danzo, I have and I will continue to oversee your training, but an important part of work is teamwork. You will learn how to work with others here. Yes, Danzo-jiji, said Naruto. Do you need another session with Jajimo? No, Danzo-sama, said Naruto. As Naruto was led into a room where there was a person his age sitting down as well. They had short black hair and a baggy, short sleeve shirt and long pants. and they were in a plain white mask. As Naruto wondered if he should put on his mask as well. Before he could do anything, Danzo said begin. The person rushed towards him quickly to attack him. After a short taijutsu between the children back and front, Danzo told them enough. As he walked between them, Naruto, this is Maki. You will be working with Maki, training, eating missions. This person will be your partner unless I call for you personally. Do you understand? Naruto nodded. Do you understand, Maki? Maki nodded as well. Very well, said Danzo. End of the flashback. Naruto was coming back to him. Maki was the only person he got to call a, acquaintance en route. He said acquaintance instead of friend because Maki never really spoke to him. He never really saw her outside the base, unless they were doing something. And when he do, she spoke in short syllables. And he never yet saw her without that mask. But Danzo never reused code names, so this was the Maki that he grew up with. She was shorter than him, about 5'7", but she has definitely grown up. She was the same age as him. She wore tight black pants, black sandals, and a high collar tight shirt. And she had on a mesh shirt under that, as it was zipped up but not all the way, as she had dark grey eyes, as her mask was attached to her hip. Hello, Maki, Naruto said, trying to pick himself up off the ground, but he was now feeling the effects of his wounds. How have you been, he said. She helped him up and bring him back over to his bed. I have been fine, senpai, she said. Due to your unfortunate capture and your sealing, Danzo-sama never truly saw it fitting for me to go through my final stage of my emotional condition. And that was, Naruto asked. He tried to sit up, but she pushed him back down. A fight to the death between me and you, she said. Wait, he seriously would have made Maki fight him back then? 8-year-old Naruto back then would have slaughtered an 8-year-old Maki with ease. She was good enough to keep up with him in training, but if he went serious, it would always end with him winning. He was a Jinchuriki that was trained by the leader personally. She was just a little girl, a well-trained little girl, but still a little girl. I was never subjected to that part of the training, because anyone Danzo-sama would have made me fight. Wouldn't have a bond to me at all, she said. The same thing happened to Sai senpai, when his partner Shin died of a disease before the test could happen. As he wondered why Maki was holding him down, because he felt blood coming up to his throat. But she went through hand sign, mystical palm technique, she said, as her hands started to glow green. You're still as stubborn as a mule, senpai, she said. You never answered my question, Maki. How did you get us out of there, Naruto asked. She gave him a smile that seemed rather strange because her face was always stern. We were there with you the entire time, senpai, she said, as Naruto's eyes widened in shock. Sai senpai, along with myself, with a platoon of root ninjas. Why do you think the full force of the Hidden Rain military wasn't brought down to bear on you? Because we were there keeping the bulk away from you when you were discovered. But you end up causing quite a stir when you fought with the Akatsuki member all across the village, as Naruto coughed with a little drop of blood. Danzo just sent a platoon? He had 15 ninjas to spare to get me out of the Hidden Rain? Maki shook her head. Well, why did he have them there, Naruto asked. Maki wiped the blood away from his lip. We weren't actually there for you, she said. Danzo-sama sent a platoon to use a Hidden Rain civil war to assassinate Hanzo. But he was already dead and we didn't know the war was over until we got there. Killed by the man that defeated you and Jiraiya-sama, Pain. Before we left, Sai senpai discovered you. And we got you out. It was actually successful, with all things considered. Even though we didn't knew that Danzo was dead, and we only lost 13 men of the 55 that we sent in. And you brought us here when you retreated from the village, Naruto said. Wait, there was an elderly toad with Erasenin. What happened to him? He is still by Jiraiya-sama's bedside. He said that he was waiting for you to wake up, and he isn't the only one. But you can go and see him first. She walked to his door and pointed to a stand in the corner. There are fresh clothes for you over there. Yours were absolutely ruined. As she then gave him another smile. It's really good to see you again, senpai. I missed you. Naruto blinked in surprise. She missed him? How? She barely spoke to him and they weren't that close, at least to him. Hell, he didn't even know that she was a girl for the longest time. So, you still have your emotions? You're not a brick wall like Sai is. Well, was, until I got to him. They didn't really spend much time with people, so people they spend time with they bond with. Before Danzo made them fight, it must be because of that. I never finished my emotional training condition, she said. Remember, Root is and will always be on your side, Naruto senpai. As she went outside and locked the door behind her. Meanwhile, the Hokage's tower. Naruto-sama isn't dead, Hokage-sama, said Temako as she shook her head no. Tsunade felt bad for the girl to accept that Naruto was caught by the Akatsuki, but this was getting ridiculous. Even Ma could not tell the girl otherwise. Temako, you have to accept that Jiraiya and Naruto are missing. I'll be here for you. You need to accept this. Just like I can. Himako sighed. Master isn't dead or missing. I can ask him right now. As she pulled part of her kimono down and put 2 fingers on the seal. Yes, he wasn't answering a few days after I got that strange feeling, but he did answer a few days after. What? Where is he? Is Jerry okay as well? What happened? What about Pa? Is he alright? Ma asked. Himako frowned a bit as she tried to get that out in code. Well, she said after a while, Jerry is alive. This Pa person was with him as well, because he was with him until he got knocked unconscious. He apparently doesn't know where he is, but when he gets his bearings, he will tell me, and I'll tell you. Himako knew where he was, but he told her not to tell them, because about Root. And she knew that Sai was a part of Root as well, and they could not know about it. He is safe though, and he will move when he gets a chance. Tsunade and Ma let out sighs of relief. I'm going to smack that pervert and that brat when they get back here, said Tsunade. She looked at Himako gratefully. Thank you for that, Himako. Meanwhile, Naruto had on no shoes, but he had on a white long sleeve with black pants with his sword behind him. It didn't take him long to find the medical room. You wanted to see me, he said, as he locked the door behind him as Jiraiya was lying there, with the toad there as well. Paul looked at Naruto. He's going to be fine, they say. They kept Jiraiya boy alive. Most of them had on the Konoha symbol on their headband. They did not try to restrain me, and they kept you alive as well. So, how, said Naruto, how is he for sure? Do you know, I told Bachan he was alive, but I don't know exactly what was wrong with him. Well, as you can see, before we got thrown like ants, he lost an arm. Ain't nothing no one can do about that. His throat was crushed. It's gonna take some time for him to regain speech with proper medical treatment. He had a ton of damage to his internal organs. But I guess getting that beating from Tsunade all those years ago is good for one thing, because he will survive. But he won't be in fighting shape for a while, or if ever again. Well, at least he's not dead, said Naruto. At least he will live to perv another day, said Naruto as he sat down. How long have we been here? 5 days, said Pa. They said you went and cracked every single bone in your body. How did you go and manage that? Well, it's a price you pay to use power that you can't truly control. I can't even use 4 tails, though using the Kitsune trigger, the thing that you saw me turn into. I can't actually use any ninjutsu when I do it though. It's all power and speed. But it wasn't enough for that pain guy though. Well, you didn't know anything about him. But now, Jiraiya-chan know, and so does I. Ma is giving speech to your Hokage right now. That was the reason why we went there in the first place, wasn't it? So that's a mission accomplished. I could have beaten Conan if I got in there 1-on-1, but Pain, I don't think at full capacity that I could even defeat him. He was so fast and there were so many of him, and that one bald one was so strong. I didn't even stand a chance. How do you feel now? Pa asked. Are you angry? Are you scared? No, I'm not mad. You think it would be weird, but I'm not mad. Even after everything that he did. Ursanin's still alive, and I know we won't let this keep him down. But I never took it personally. No matter how much of a bastard Pain is, he has his own goals. So does we. Our goals just clash. That's the reason why ninjas exist, right? Being mad won't change anything. It won't make me stronger, he won't make him weaker. It won't give Ursanin his arm back. And the fear? Pa asked. No fear, said Naruto as he stood up, slowly. What is there to be afraid of? I already know that he can beat me, so all there is to do right now is find a way to get stronger than him. And I know it's possible. I have to do it so I can never see someone like Ursanin get hurt fighting for me again. That is why he did all of this, took these wounds. It's because he's stronger than me and he wanted to protect me. He must have given that bastard hell though. Damn right he did. He took one of the bastard's body and got it to your Hokage. It won't take long, and we will figure out a way to beat him, kid. So, what do we do now? Well, I can't go back to Konoha right now, not that I am. This. Know that Pain know that he can defeat me. He will return full blast. He will attack Konoha directly if I'm there, especially after all the damage I did to him in rain one attack. I can't go back with you. I can go as far as Hainokune, or take him back to the sand, but I'm not setting foot in Konoha again until I'm ready to fight Pain and win. I have a better idea. You got a message to Tsunade, didn't you? Well, Ma should be with her. If you can get word back to Ma, she can summon me. And I can get Jiraiya back to Konoha and we can treat him. You can do that? I thought only humans can summon you, not the way around. Pa chuckled, that's right. You've been learning how to work with the toads through Bunta, Chobosome's boy, Kamikichi, haven't you? Well, you need to set up a contract with a toad that you want as your familiar. We toads can summon each other, but only a familiar can summon the human that they're working with. Nothing we can do about that for now. Go ahead and chew Kamikichi about that. When you got the time. Damn it, Naruto said, as he started to send out a message to Himako. She should get in a few minutes. Here, this should take him out of the coma by the time Snelly Batch and get to him. Tell everyone that I'll be fine. I'll keep in touch through Himako, but tell him I can't come back there right now. This is how it has to be. You gonna travel the world like your sensei did? Pa asks. No, I don't think I'll be going that far and wide like Erasenin. I have a mission to do. Get strong enough to beat pain, and keep Konoha safe. Tell Batchan not to waste the resources coming after me. I wouldn't do this unless I knew what I were doing. Once Yamakichi become your familiar summon, we can summon you back to Mount Miyaboku. Can't wait, Naruto says he open the door. Make sure he gets a lot of rest. One arm or not, I'm sure Konoha is going to need him. Please don't tell her what you saw here, it will cause a bunch of needless trouble. And if Batchan get all bent out of shape about me not coming back, tell her I'm still in the middle of an ongoing mission. As Naruto closed the door behind him, you really heading out on your own, Naruto senpai? As Naruto turned to see Sai leaned up against the wall. Are you certain that would be the wisest course of action? Well, think about it this way. I can train in Konoha like what I've been doing. With a beacon on my head, showing pain exactly where I am. Don't worry, I have a few places where I can go, Sai. So, how do you save us back there? We were flying through the air. I can draw birds large enough to carry multiple people. Or did you forget? Well, be that as it may, Danzo-sama would like to speak to you now. Know that you have recovered. Wait, Danzo Gigi is here? For how long? I told him that you were here after we rescued you. As Sai led Naruto down the corridor. He came shortly after I sent it while you were still unconscious. Whatever happened to you almost killed you. Maki-san couldn't even fix you with even the Kyuubi. Well, I feel totally brutal if you know what I'm saying. I don't think I could even stand up to a single punch right now. As Sai led Naruto to a rather plain door. Man, this feels like deja vu, Naruto said. As Sai knocked on the door, enter. As he brought Naruto with him. As Toru and Fu was in there along with Danzo. As Danzo was staring at Naruto with that gaze. As Maki was also in there as well. She wasn't really showing any emotions on her face, but when Naruto looked at her, he could see that she was happy to see him. Naruto, said Danzo. It is good to see you alive and in one piece. How goes your final mission for me? Naruto wanted to roll his eyes, like he didn't know. Well, Danzo, Gigi, Naruto said, getting that glare from Toru and Fu, as they still don't like how he called Danzo that. But he did not get any reaction out of Danzo. Strange, he must have been miscalled that when he was not there. I'm a Jonin now. I know Snelly Batchan because she's technically related to me now. I'm the son of the 4th Hokage. So I have a direct relation, or relationship with 4 of the 5 Kages that has existed in Konoha history. And now you have me, a man who works side by side with the 2nd Hokage, and a man who almost became the 3rd Hokage, said Danzo with a smirk. What would you say if I told you I had this plan for you to become Hokage all along? For you to become Hokage instead of me? Well, I would want to say that you're completely bluffing, but I wouldn't be surprised if you say that is the truth. No, it is true, Danzo said, dropping his smirk. I knew of your relationship with the 4th. Most Jinchuriki are related to the village leader somehow, and you look just like him. The evidence was always there. For anyone with the knowledge of what to look for, I always had you as my backup plan in case I was never able to secure the place. I decided after it was deemed that Snelly was supposed to become Hokage for you to know of my plans. Do you know how old I am, Naruto? Well, the 3rd was 69 when he died, and yours 8, so I would say that you're at least 72. Danzo nodded. Even if I had taken a seat, how long would it have lasted? Any plan I put into motion at that point would have never seen completion until after my death, leaving Konoha in a state of chaos to my successor because they would not be knowledgeable to my politics. Everything I had done since I realized I would never able to condition you was to prepare you, and when you were captured I felt like my plans were all for nothing. But when you broke the seals placed on you just like you always broke mine, and the results placed you into a far better condition for you to become Hokage, everything started to go as planned. You will have this support as root, no matter what, through your endeavor. Sai is to replace me, as you know. And Maki, well, I haven't had plans for her, but she's very skilled at medical ninjutsu. You already know to her healing you. You know Maki, for your conditional training, she was meant for something more. But it doesn't matter now. I was never going to have the both of you fight one another to death. That got looks of surprise from Maki and Naruto. More Maki because she thought that the both of them had to fight each other to death. I am aware of your victories and your defeats in your career. Do not feel discouraged, that is a sign of weakness. This pain person was a force to take out a platoon of my shinobi, as well as Hanzo before your birth. He has clearly only grown in strength since then. However, unlike my soldiers, you survived, and you can simply learn from your defeat. He then gestured at Sai and Maki. I offer the aid of Sai and Maki to travel with you. during your expedition from Konoha. It will be far too dangerous for you to do this alone. Naruto turned to Sai. Were you aware of this? Sai nodded. And you're okay with coming with me? As Sai nodded once more, as he then turned towards Maki. Did you know of this too? She also nodded. Maki, you barely know me. Are you sure it's best for you to come with me? She nodded once more. It is my mission, Naruto-senpai. And I believe it will be good to work with you again. That is if you will allow me to. As Naruto simply nodded. If I say no, you're just gonna let them shadow me. Same way, aren't you, Naruto asked. Danzo didn't even try to hide it, that is correct. As I said before, you are far too valuable to the village to be left unguarded. Everyone except for Naruto, please leave the room. All of them bowed and left the room, leaving Naruto alone. I have never told you this personally, because I am not one for compliments. And, now that I have the chance, I must tell you face to face. Naruto-kun, you are one of my greatest successors en route. Danzo-chichi, are you dying, Naruto asked? Because you never told me that evening when I was working and running missions for you. Naruto thought the apocalypse was coming when Danzo laughed. He actually laughed. I am not dying, Naruto-kun. I can assure you of that, he said. If the Tsuchikage is still around these days, then I must certainly have plenty of time left. It is true, however, he said, allowing his amusement to die down. You took to my training well and took your ability to fit the everyday situations outside of combat. My original intent was to enter you into the academy once you returned from your mission against Zone, but fate had other plans, but you have turned out well even though 4 years lost you. As Naruto did not know what to say, this man was a catalyst to everything that happened. But he was what made him so strong today. So he went to one knee. Thank you, Danzo-sama. Times are changing and becoming more and more difficult, Naruto-kun. You know this as well. Take care and prepare well. Sai and Maki will keep watch over you until you feel fit to return. You will always have me and the entire route watching over your side. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Rain, Pain was pissed. You will not escape for long. Enjoy your freedom as long as you can, Naruto Uzumaki said Pain, as he looked at the destruction of his village through Tendo eyes. As Konan looked down the village, she had to quickly switch the paper clone and then Shunshin away, but the power sent her sailing away miles from the Hidden Rain. You had to know that it will come to this, using me and the others as weapons. She remembered what he said. Was this supposed to be the end result? Was this supposed to be what happened after they succeeded? More destruction? Konan. Pain snapped her from her thoughts. We will remain here until I prepare a new body for my animal path. Then we will begin the hunt for the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Until that, send the remaining members words, keep their eyes open for him, and do not hesitate to engage him. As you wish, Nagato. As she walked deeper in the tower, can peace really be achieved this way? And if so, how many more lives will be lost in the process, she thought. With the weapons in the hands of the nation, how many times will it be used? Would anyone even be left to survive and bring the peace? Timeskip, Konoha Hospital. Is that damn brat insane? That was a roar that echoed through the building and went onto the streets. He really expect me to just leave him alone by himself with the Akatsuki out there? Snady was happy when she found out that Jerry was alive, as she rushed him to the hospital and got him treated. But then she sat down and listened to what the elder told her. Instead of staying here where we can protect him, he's staying out there where he's in jeopardy. He thinks it's the right thing to do with all things considered. He doesn't want pain coming here for him right now the way he is. And I think it's between you and him. But he told me when you snap and get all angry like this, he told me to remind you he still continues his ongoing mission that he hasn't finished yet. Snady looked at the Toad until realization hit her. Oh, that sneaky little. He was talking about the mission with Jiraiya to see if Kumo would assist him with the Akatsuki. The original intention was to venture to all the 5 nations, or to any place that would be willing to assist. It was something with Jiraiya to get Naruto out of the village for at least a month. But the attack from Hiden and Kakashi put a wrench in that plan and cut it short. However, Snady has never officially closed the mission. It was still open. That is why that bastard. Oh, he's good. I don't suppose he told you where he was going, she said, looking at Paul. So I could send a team to intercept, or at least assist him. Nope, said Paul. I don't even know where me and the kid was that you got Ma to summon me from. So I don't even know how to help you there either. Laughing could be heard coming from Jiraiya's bed. As Snady turned towards the injured man, even hooked up to so many machines, he was still grinning and laughing for Naruto getting one over on her. Oh, shut up, you pervert. Keep laughing. And I'm just gonna make you better so I can beat you up and put you back in here. As Jiraiya wasn't able to speak, so he raised one arm as he drew a heart in the air and pointed at Snad and pointed back at himself. Snad gave him a small smile. It doesn't mean I still doesn't want to kick your ass for worrying me this way. So what now, senpai? Asked Sai, as Naruto was decked out in his Anbu outfit, as he had a plain white mask to his side. Well, until everything can get better, I can't just wait for him to find me. I have to start on my own. I never had a chance to speak with the other Jinchurikis before. So first, to the San, then to Kire, then to Kumo. I need to learn how to control this power, he said. Meanwhile, at one of the zone bases, many bodies were around Sasuke as he was breathing a bit heavy. I know how to find you, Itachi, he said. I know that you're looking for the Jinchurikis. All I have to do is capture them myself, and then wait for you to come to me, said Sasuke. He clenched his fist as lightning chakra circulated through it. Orochimaru cannot stop me. You won't stop me, nothing will stop me. You can't hide from me forever. It's almost time for me to find you and get my revenge. Just wait a little while longer, Itachi. As a curse seal spread across his body. I'll get my revenge. Your life will be mine soon. But guys, we'll be in this episode right here. Remember to stay in tune for what if Naruto learned the clone secret in the beginning. And also what if Naruto was given a second chance. And also go ahead and check out the new series, What If Naruto Was a Godly Mage. And enjoy that, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and comment down below and tell me. If you're new, I'll be planning on talking back to all of you. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.